Hi everyone, I'm Matt from Heron, and welcome to the latest episode of the Heron Financial Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about home insurance. Home insurance is an area that people often get confused. There's so much information online and on TV ads these days that it can be tricky to know where to start. So today, I want to walk you through some key bits of information that would then allow you to make a more informed decision, potentially go off and seek some further advice. So what is home insurance? Well, the first thing that we need to do is establish the different names that people have for it. Home insurance is the obvious one, and it's the one that people most commonly use, but it can also be known as buildings and contents. And those two things can be arranged separately if you want. So if we go through them one by one, hopefully you should have an understanding of what exactly they cover and how they work. The first thing is buildings insurance. Now this one should be fairly obvious, but it protects the building itself. So if you own a flat or an apartment, this would normally be covered in your service charge, and it wouldn't ordinarily be something that you would be expected to go out and arrange for yourself. It's worth double checking that with the estate agent or the house builder or even the solicitor who's handling that purchase for you. Often, it wouldn't be your responsibility to have that buildings insurance in place. If you're buying a house, things could be different, and that's where it would potentially be up to you and on your obligation to arrange that buildings cover. You'll often find that if the buildings insurance has not been arranged, the lender would not permit your solicitor to draw the money, and that could slow up your completion. So definitely establish early whether the buildings insurance needs to be in place. Once you know that, it's worth understanding what the buildings insurance will cover you against. It's generally something that would protect damage to the property itself, whether that be storm damage or any other potential act of God. You need to make sure that that building is fully insured against fires and other instances that could damage the building itself, whether that's coming from you as the individual or as part of the service charge if you're buying a flat or an apartment or a maisonette. The next one is contents cover. Now this would generally cover everything that's inside the home and not secured to the wall. So your furniture is a good example, maybe pieces of art, jewelry, or even a PS5 if you're lucky enough to have one of those. Now there are lots of options when it comes to arranging your cover. And you'll hear some terminology like accidental damage, trace and access, personal possessions. These aren't add-ons without thought. These are things that could provide you with additional cover in certain circumstances. So for instance, personal possessions is something that could protect your possessions inside or outside of the home. Is your mobile phone protected when it's in your handbag, for instance, and you're on the tube? You need to talk to an advisor and get some guidance around whether that would be covered on your policy. With accidental damage, would you be covered against the glass of red wine that you kick over on the cream carpet? Again, worth talking to your advisor to make sure that that's something that you have on your policy if you want it in place. With something like trace and access, if you have a leak, are you covered against the actual establishment of where that leak is? Or is it just a case of fixing the problem that's occurred? These are all add-ons that may or may not apply to you, and they're all things that you might want to consider when you're arranging cover. So getting advice from a really professional advisor will help you make the best decision as to what cover you need. After considering all of this, it's worth saying that you should always look to review your cover on an annual basis. So most policies like this will review annually, a bit like your car insurance or any medical insurance that you might have. Always make sure that when you get that renewal letter through from your insurer, that you speak to your advisor and make sure that this is still the best cover for you with the best insurer for you. It's always best to seek advice if you can. There are so many price comparison sites out there and so many other options when it comes to going out there and trying to arrange the cover yourself. But there's nothing quite like speaking to somebody who arranges this cover day in, day out. So clearly I'm biased, but you should always make sure that you find an advisor that you agree with, that you get on with, that can give you the expertise in making sure that the right cover is in place. That can be the difference between a claim being paid and a claim being rejected. So ask yourself when you're surfing around the web, looking at the cover that you might be able to find there, is it best to get advice, or do I trust this information that I can see in front of me and take that responsibility myself? Personally, I think getting advice is always the best route forward, and that should be your first port of call. Thank you for watching and listening today, and I hope you found the information useful. I would always recommend, if you're considering changing your home insurance now, get in touch. We'd love to help you and give you the right advice that you need. and we love to hear your feedback on these episodes too. So please remember to like and subscribe, comment on the information that you've seen. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. We're really grateful for your support, and we look forward to seeing you and hearing from you on the next episode.